Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ben. This is week 4 of the Virtual Pokemon League. I have a match against Braydon. Unfortunately, when I live recorded this battle, I didn't record my mic. So I'm gonna have to do a post commentary of the match. So I first wanted to go over what sets I was bringing, what the team I was bringing, and then I'll go into the replay of the battle and I'll narrate it. So, real quickly, I'll go into my team. It's the same except I have Mawile instead of Vileplume. That was the trade I made with Ocarina. And I also dropped Golurk for Mismagius for free agency. I won't go into well, yeah, I'm not bringing either of these Pokemon this week, so I really don't have to explain it too much, but I think this really improves my team in general. And you'll see how I'm going to use these Pokemon later on in the season. So, Braydon has a really threatening team. Braydon's one of the better battlers in this league, in my opinion, so I definitely was pretty intimidated going into this match that, I could definitely lose. So he has Gliscor, Mega Venusaur, Volcarona, Haxorus. I was extremely scared of the Haxorus going in. This thing was a problem. Vaporeon, Mamoswine, I was also a little scared of because my team does have a little bit of a ground weakness. Magneton, Spiritomb, Golbat, Tangela, Tauros, Mr. Mime. So, this is actually not my team. This is my team. Gallade has an excellent matchup this week. He is very specially defensive, or I can make him very specially defensive, so that he can set up on either the Vaporeon or the Venusaur. So he's got Sub-Sword Stance, Zen Headbutt, Ice Punch. Ice Punch hits his team really well. In general, like Zen Headbutt for the Venusaur, Ice Punch in general hits his team really well. Gliscor, Venusaur, Volcarona, Haxorus. Well, I guess I'm not going to be the Volcarona, but anyway, yeah, it can, I think after an SD, it could kill the Gliscor. Obviously I need to be behind a sub to stay in because Gliscor would outspeed me, but yeah, it sets up on the Venusaur or Vaporeon, and this thing put in a lot of work. Subroo's Kieran, pretty standard. Ice Beam, Psychic. This is pretty much exactly the same deal as the Gallade. It's got the same coverage, Psychic, Ice Beam. Yeah, it was just, another really good thing to bring this week. Did the exact same thing, set up on the Vaporeon or the Venusaur. I have a fully max physically defensive Milotic. I absolutely had to bring this for the Haxorus. I needed something to take at least one hit from the Haxorus. I think this takes 2. Scald Ice Beam hits his team really well. Got the Dragon Tail to phase out a potentially if this Haxorus wants to set up, or anything else wants to set up like the Venusaur. And I've got the Recover. Braviary puts in a lot of work on his team. Obviously, Brave Bird's really good for the Venusaur, but he doesn't have a single flying resistance on his team aside from the Magneton. So in general, Brave Bird's really spammable. I guess he has a Magneton that resists it, but anyway. I didn't expect him to bring Magneton. The only problem is he does have a Mamoswine that has Ice Shard. Ice Shard does about 75% to 80%. Even though I have some defense investment, but I figured it was definitely worth it this week. He doesn't have Braydon doesn't have a spinner at all, and he has only Gliscor and Golbat to defog, I believe, so definitely trying to get a Defiant boost off with the Braviary. We've got Tyranitar, Stone Edge, Ice Punch, Iron Defense. This thing was fully physically defensive to take on threats like the Mamoswine or the Gliscor, or I guess Tauros if he would wanted to bring it, but mainly those. Even though it's fully specially defensive, it also it's fully physically defensive, it also handles special threats like Magneton or Volcarona. So yeah, Tyranitar was a good bring, and it set up Sand for Excadrill, which was a Sand Rush sweeper this week, with Swords Dance and Rapid Spin. Iron Head and Earthquake hit his team really hard. Iron Head, I believe, I think at +2 it does around 70% of the Gliscor, so that's really the only thing that's stopping me from sweeping. Yeah, and it's especially defensive to, oh god, I guess handle the Voker. Oh yeah, take hits from the Vaporeon. I actually had this battle a few days ago, so I'm starting to forget some of these sets. Anyway, let's go into the battle. So, yeah, a team preview, he had the Spiritomb, which wasn't necessarily something I was expecting, but I actually had practiced against an Infiltrator Spiritomb, so I was definitely expecting this thing to be Infiltrator. Turns out that I did bring 2 substitute users on my team, so definitely was a good bring for him. Otherwise, he doesn't bring the Mammoth when he actually opts for the Volcarona instead, which was interesting. Wasn't too concerned about the Volcarona, considering I was pretty confident I was going to be able to get Stealth Rocks up. Otherwise, it's to be expected from his team. So I lead off with T-Tar wanting to get up the rocks. If his Gliscor is Toxic Heal, then it isn't Defog. And that means rocks will stay up for the rest of the match. Otherwise, if it is Defog, then it forces him to Defog, which is a potential Defiant boost on my BVRA +2 attack. So definitely just going to go for rocks turn 1. He ends up going for the Toxic, which is fine. I'm not planning to have T-Tar stay in too long anyway, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to end up switching out, going into the Excadrill, which is on a balloon. Ends up going for the Taunt, which is nice. I can't SD up here, which is probably what I would have wanted to do, but either way, an Iron Head is going to be doing good damage. He does switch into Gliscor, which is what I was expecting him to switch in, which is why I didn't go for EQ. I do see the Rocky Helmet here, which tells me, number 1, that he's probably physically defensive based. Number 2, he's not Toxic Heal, so he's more than likely Defog. So cool, nice to know. Go back into the Kyurem here. Does just go for the Roost, which is nice. EQ would have done damage. Here I have a free sub. As he goes into the Spiritomb, so this is definitely going to be Infiltrator Spiritomb. Even though he is going to go through my sub, I'm honestly not too worried about what he's going to go for. Ice Beam is going to be almost a 2-hit KO. It's close. Gonna go for the Toxic. Kind of bad, but you know, I'll deal with it. So here I see that Ice Beam did 50% last time. So it's definitely a roll because he's at 50%. I decide here to go for the Roost, expecting him to switch out, wanting to save it. Turns out he was willing to sack his Spiritomb if he got the roll, so he did go for Plain Spit, which sucks because I predicted the switch and went for Roost. So this is really bad. I do get the crit here, which ensures the 2-hit KO. A little bit of hacks for sure. At this point, I'm pretty much just sacking Kyurem. I recognize that it doesn't do... I mean, it would have been nice to have for sure, but it's okay. Now that Kyurem's Toxic, its usability is limited, so I'm going to sack Kyurem here, hoping that I can take the Spirit Pursuit map with it, which will open up an opportunity for my Glade to put in a lot of work later on. Like I said, Glade is really my ticket to winning this match, and so I want it to have as much opportunity as it can. So I end up just going for the kill here on the Ice Beam. I suppose he switches out into Vaporeon. Unfortunately, Toxic is gonna kill me here, so Kyurem goes down. Fortunately though, I do have a free switch into my Glade. Free sub, he goes back out into the Spiritomb. Unfortunately, I did the damage calcs at this point. Turns out an Ice Punch can't kill, of course. And a Zen Habit also wouldn't kill. I think it's immune. But yeah, so I'm forced to switch out here, so took that damage unnecessarily, and now he knows that I'm sub. But gonna go into T-Tar, expecting the Toxic. Now I can kill if he wants to stay in, or I can just go for a Stone Edge, which hits his entire team. End up going for the Stone Edge as he switches. Goes into the Gliscor. From the Stone Edge damage, I can see that he probably is defensive because T-Tar's pretty powerful. Here, I'm expecting a Defog or Roost. Wasn't too sure which one it was going to be, considering that he's physically defensive. I don't want to go into Braviary quite yet. So I am going to go out into the Excadrill, so my whole plan with the Excadrill is it's on a balloon. Gliscor, a lot of times doesn't carry an attacking move. Like, it usually carries, like, Toxic and EQ, and then a lot of times it doesn't carry another attacking move. So I was hoping that he wouldn't be able to break the balloon, which would give me a free setup and potentially be able to do a lot of damage here. Does go for the Defog, so he didn't go for the Roost, which is nice. I go for the SD. Turns out he goes for the Roost, so it's looking up for me here. Now I have to decide if I want to go for a second SD. Since an Iron Head doesn't kill, and I don't want to take 2 Rocky Helmet damage, like, I don't want to take Rocky Helmet damage twice, I figure that it is worth it to go for another SD. But as you can see here, he does have the knockoff, so he was able to break the balloon, which really sucks. So now, and also the Sandstorm happens to end that turn, so now I don't outspeed. He doesn't know it, but I don't have any speed investment, and a 0 speed invested Gliscor outspeeds 0 speed investment. Excadrill is definitely slower. He might switch though, not knowing that I don't have any speed investment. It's hard to, like, it's a hard call. But he also might just be willing to sack his Gliscor at this point because something's gonna die here if he switches. So I figure here that it isn't worth it to risk Excadrill, and I do switch out. Turns out he is willing to sack the Spiritomb. I go out into my Lodic in order to counter the Gliscor, but he does switch out. Here I'm going to go right back out into Cheetar because I don't want to take a Toxic on my Lodic. Ends up going for the Pain Split. That was another good play he can make. I didn't have, like, everything on my team was full health, aside from the Excadrill, so I pretty much had nothing to take that Pain Split, so does get the Pain Split off. My T-Tar is definitely getting whittled down here. Yeah, and I go for the rocks again here. Now, here is my perfect opportunity to go out into the Braviary because he's at full health. There's no way he's gonna Roost. If he goes for EQ, I'm immune to it if I go to Braviary. If he goes for knockoff, then I guess that'd be the worst case, but he probably won't go for knockoff against a T-Tar, considering it'll do nothing. So, hoping for the Defog here as I go out into the Braviary. Does go for the Defog, and now I have a +2 Braviary in here, and something's gonna die. So I have a choice here to lock myself into Brave Bird or Return. Since he still has a Spiritomb, and he's probably switching into it this turn to sack it, I can't lock myself into Return, so I have to go for Brave Bird. So I do lock myself into Brave Bird. This Spiritomb is definitely dying. So he's going to go out into the Haxorus here, and I had to make a decision because obviously I'm Scarf, so I outspeed, but if he's Scarf, he outspeeds, so I had to make a decision whether it was worth the risk if he was Scarf. By the way he sent it in, it seemed like he might have been Scarf, but he also might not know that I'm Scarf, and this Haxorus is such a big problem for my team. First of all, I really don't have a switch into it. If Braviary, like, if I switch out, it'd have to be in my Lodic, and my Lodic isn't taking hits well from this Haxorus. So I figure that the Haxorus is such a big threat that it really is worth it for me to just stay in, hoping he's not Scarf. Of course, if he's not Scarf and I kill it, then something else is also dying on his team, because I'm +2 and he has nothing for this, so I decide that it is worth it to stay in, even if he is Scarfed. Go for the Brave Bird, he's not Scarfed, which is great. We got that huge threat out of the way. Gonna go into the Gliscor, so Here, I had to make a decision whether it was worth it to trade Braviary for his Gliscor. From the damage calcs I did at the time, I don't know if I miscalced or what, but I calced that it killed, that Braver killed. Of course, I knew that I would die from the recoil. At the time, I made the assessment that it was worth it to sack Braviary, but looking back at the match, I think this was my one really big misplay of the match was trading Braviary for Gliscor. I could have easily switched on my Milotic here. My Milotic's only job was to counter the Haxorus, so now that that was dead, my Milotic could just be used up against the Gliscor. And of course, Braviary is extremely useful later on for the Venusaur and the Volcarona, which are just about his only offensive threats left. Even if it's not a +2, Braviary does a lot of work against those, so I should have saved Braviary, switch out to my Milotic here, but I don't. I just go for Brave Bird, end up getting a crit. So I do think that crit mattered. Yeah. That crit definitely mattered. So it kind of sucks, but I died to recoil too. It's possible that I wouldn't have died to recoil if I hadn't got the crit, but I'm pretty sure I probably would have anyway. Here, I decide that it's worth getting my rocks up even if Tyranitar dies, so I go to Tyranitar, go for the rocks. He ends up going for growth, which is definitely a little scary. At this point, I'm thinking his set is like Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Knockoff, or sorry, Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, EQ, and just Synthesis, so my Glade can still counter it, but if he does have the EQ, it's going to be breaking my sub, which isn't ideal. So at this point, I'm thinking I have to get on as much damage as possible so that a Zen Headbutt from a Glade will take it out, which it does about 60%. So I'm forced to go for the Stone Edge here, as he goes for the growth again. Getting pretty nervous here, but that does put him in range to where Glade can take him out, which is really nice. So at this point, I choose to sack Excadrill, expecting either the Giga Drain or a Synthesis. I'm not sure about this play. Excadrill wasn't doing too much work, but because the Volcarona outsped it, but either way, either Tyranitar or Glade wasn't doing as, or either Tyranitar or Excadrill wasn't putting in a lot of work, so this was the choice I made to sack Excadrill. So after that Giga Drain damage, he probably isn't dying to a Zen Headbutt, which is definitely scary, but my only switch is the Glade. Here I decide to not go for sub, just go for Zen Headbutt. Doesn't end up killing, but the Giga Drain is not going. I took that Giga Drain a lot better than I expected. Like I said, I expected him to have something like EQ, which would have probably killed me. Yeah, it would have definitely killed me, I think, at that range, at +2. So really glad he didn't end up having EQ. So I'm able to live the Giga Drain and be able to kill next turn. He ends up going into his Vaporeon, which is fine with me because I can set up on this thing. Although I think I end up, yeah, I go out into T-Tar. I figure that I don't know exactly why I made this play. At the time, I guess I was just thinking that T-Tar didn't have any use in him anyway. Oh yeah, so T-Tar doesn't have any use in him, and I honestly would rather him be dead because I don't want Venusaur to potentially get the Giga Drain health from T-Tar, so I'd rather T-Tar be dead, and I could just set up on the Vaporeon after T-Tar dies. But I go for Stone Edge here. Actually, with the sand damage, ends up taking him out, which I was surprised by. Anyway, he gets a Will Wish, which means that his Venusaur is going to be gaining more health. It does get Giga off. So now I'm staring down at Venusaur at 78 HP. My Glade is my absolute only answer to this. I have to go for the sub here. Because I'm pretty... Well, actually, it depends. If he's offensive, his Sludge Bombs or Giga Drains might kill me. After a growth, they definitely will, but I have to hope that they don't break the sub. Go for the sub. His Sludge Bomb does not break the sub, which is fantastic. Gives me a lot better chance of winning. Now I'm going to go for Swords Dance here so that the Zen Headbutt will kill him. Goes for the Synthesis, that's okay because the Zen Headbutt will still kill him. And now I'm just going to go for the Zen Headbutt, does take out the Venusaur. Now he's only got Volcarona left and I'm still behind a sub, so it's looking good for me. He ends up having the Bug Buzz, which goes through the sub. I wasn't thinking about during the match. But thankfully, I'm able to hit my Zen Headbutt, and that's going to be the game. So, it turned out that his Volcarona was actually Weakness Policy. So, if that Bug Buzz would have killed Gallade, which I was pretty surprised it didn't, then I would have only had my Lodic left, and what would have happened is I would have gone for Scald. Well, he would have gone for Giga Drain, would have gained enough health back so that my Scald didn't kill it, I'm pretty sure. Then I would have gone for Scald, his Weakness Policy would have activated, and then he would have killed with Giga Drain on the next turn. So yeah, if Gallade hadn't lived that Bug Buzz, then I would have lost. And so ended up being an extremely close game. Really gave me a run for my money there. But Gallade ended up coming in clutch. Braviary ended up coming in clutch. A couple misplays. I got a little bit of hacks on him, but not too much. Was a really great game, one of the best so far of this season in my opinion. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing you in playoffs, Braydon, if you do get there. So, see you guys later.